So thinking back on 2020, we had the global pandemic, shelter in place requirements, which led, of course, to the closure of so many things that we're used to doing: restaurants, theaters, museums, galleries. And that, I think, on its own is difficult. Like, we're adjusting to a different kind of access to things that we ordinarily do. And that doesn't just include art, but all the things that we would ordinarily do. And then, of course, on Memorial Day, George Floyd is killed. There is an uprising in response to that killing, which I thought was important. And within that, of course, you've got the prospect of damage to businesses. And then, of course, boards are a lot of things. They're depressing when they're covering windows, when we're used to being able to see out and now we can't do either. They're also, I think, symbolic in a way, and they form, in effect, an empty canvas. I remember my daughter was home from college and was still taking classes at that time, and we early on drove down University Avenue to look at the canvases, and there was a lot of things happening. So we were out in the daytime and essentially driving from the Capitol to Minneapolis on University, and people were cleaning, people were cooking and handing out food, and people were painting on boarded up windows. So in the daytime, the part of the day when we're not at home, protecting our houses and watching over our neighbors and doing all of those things, there's just like this tremendous, beautiful thing that's happening in the community where people are cleaning up, feeding each other, and doing something about these boards, making them better. I think it was in that moment that I first started to think about the human spirits, about what we need in those times. Like, we need to clean the streets. We need to make sure people have food. And we need art, right? We need our spirits to, we need to remember what we're capable of. The ugliness will be there. That's also part of the human condition, but as I don't even necessarily think as a counterbalance or as a combating force to that ugliness, there's this beauty. I think the beauty is just part and parcel of who we are and what we do. And central to that for me is art. And I just was reminded in that moment of art's capacity to take something that's distressing and unpleasant and make it hopeful and beautiful. And I was also thinking about the drive, the spirit behind that, what compelled those actions. And I believe there was plenty of thoughtfulness behind it. Someone went somewhere and bought paint and brushes and had an idea, but I also think that there's a lot of instinct there as well. And that's connected to street art for me. Like, there's just this big old blank stretch of concrete and I gotta tag it. I can't just leave it alone.